Productivity Arata. First of all, why do we need the habit of studying every day? This is especially important for those who want to study but feel sometimes it can be quite hard to keep a study schedule. So maybe you need to study on a daily basis, but you'll end up forgetting. Or sometimes you are in such a rush that suddenly it is time to go to sleep already and you didn't find a moment to study. Maybe you felt lazy or somebody else invited you to go to some type of event and you were thinking that you could study once you would return home. And you didn't. If any of these scenarios describe your study life, then you may be already in the group of people who need to develop the habit of daily study. And the reason is, habit is necessary because our willpower is limited. Willpower is a scarce resource. People who get all hyped up for a short period of time and then give up and go on to the next shiny object already in front of them already know this. The problem is not having initial enthusiasm. That is something that you already have. The problem is maintaining that enthusiasm over time. Our hectic lifestyles make us postpone our desired task for later. In this case, we think that we will study later, but that never happens. In addition to this busyness, there are also moments when we just cannot conjure up the energy to get things done and then we procrastinate. Some days we experience some sort of frustration, a stressful episode that depletes us emotionally. These things also deplete our motivation to study. The bottom line is that different external factors, rush, laziness, stress, all of them end up consuming our willpower. There is even a research study that reports the following. Scientists called participants to solve some logical reasoning exercises, and the experimental room had that delicious smell of cookies that had just been come out of the oven, and there was a jar of those cookies on the table. Half of the participants were allowed to eat the delicious cookies from the jar, and the other half were told not to eat them, and they were given radish to nibble instead. And the result is that the group that had to waste to expend willpower not to eat the cookies had no willpower to participate in the exam for a long period of time. On average, they gave up on their problem solving only after 8 minutes. They couldn't concentrate more than that. But those who were allowed to eat the cookies, they spent about 19 minutes doing all different types of problems before giving up. That is, perseverance was higher in the group that did not waste willpower on having to hold off eating the cookies in front of them. You may remember from episode 39 by going to arata.se/hello39 that perseverance is a key element for all those who want to study and learn. When you spend your willpower elsewhere, it is more difficult to study. For teaching purposes, you can imagine that every day you wake up with a little bucket full of willpower, and then the events of your day will determine how quickly this little bucket empties. Sometimes you go to sleep and the next day the bucket has refilled. But some days or certain weeks can go by and the bucket will remain quite empty. That is why you see some people who diet and they do manage to lose weight because of their willpower, but if some accident happens in the family, or they go through a breakup, or experience some professional frustration, what happens? That person loses self-control and may go back to the bad eating habits. He or she will get fat again. Willpower has been exhausted. That little bucket was empty. When you create habits, you don't need to spend willpower. To really form a habit, you need to download and read the ebook that I wrote for you at arata.se/ebook habits. And take note, the most important tip of all is to prioritize. Do you eat every day? Do you sleep every day? Do you brush your teeth every day? See, these things are not optional. These are things you always do, regardless of the weather, of being busy, or being happy, being sad. You have to elevate your study to the same priority level. So no matter what happens, you will study, and that's it. Period. This is non-negotiable. And listen, if you do not prioritize, there will always have some excuse for not studying. There will always be some change of plans. Someone else will always come to you to ask for something. There will always be some unexpected event. Isn't it funny that these unexpected events actually are to be expected. That's it. So pay attention. Without prioritizing, you will always be distracted by these unexpected events. How can we protect ourselves against these unexpected? By prioritizing. During study time, you are making the study your top priority. If the phone rings, don't answer. It might be that sexy date calling you, irrelevant. It might be some TV show calling you to give you free money. You're not interested. By the way, turn off the phone. Nothing else matters because you are in your precious study session. Everybody else will wait. If someone in your house says something to you or calls you to see something interesting on television, do not answer. Actually, tell everybody in advance that you are studying and you close the door. Better yet, get out of your home and go to a library. If you choose to study with your mobile phone on, with Facebook open on another tab, if you study in the middle of the room with your entire family around and the television, come on. Don't you see that you're basically begging to be interrupted? The unexpected is absolutely expected in this type of situation. So remember to download our ebook, How to Create and Change Habits, which is available for you to download at arata.se/ebook habits. And here's an extra tip. If a particular day is really complicated for you and you cannot study, don't skip it because you can't do it perfectly. If you don't have those 90 minutes that you always dedicate regularly to your study, don't choose to do absolutely nothing at all. Instead, find a way to squeeze in at least 30 minutes, which is better than nothing, or 10 minutes, or even 5 minutes. But never, ever let the day pass without actually performing the ritual of doing the activity. Remember the calendar that we taught in last week's episode. What was rule number 1? Do not let the chain break. Rule number 2, do not let the chain break. And rule number 3, do not let the chain break. You have to mark your X every single day without exception. So visit arata.se/ebook habits and download the complete ebook with details on how you can build the habit of studying every day.